I took a poll on my channel, and apparently a majority of you either hated the finale or thought it was just alright, so yikes. Really quick, if you are into Star Wars videos, check out my channel StarRar, where I'm going to start posting a lot more Star Wars videos really soon. I'm gonna kind of start this video off in a weird way, and I know my subscribers know this, but I think it's a good reminder. Regardless of whether you loved or hated the finale, and whether you loved or hated Season 8, your opinions are valid, and they are your opinions, and you are probably going to be criticized heavily by people regardless of how you feel about Season 8 and Game of Thrones as a whole and the finale. And I just want you to keep in mind that even if someone disagrees with you, your opinion is still valid. You aren't trash or stupid or anything that people that are insecure about their own opinions or who don't know how to have a conversation without insulting others will say to you. And I don't care if you completely disagree with me or if you completely agree with me. Your opinion for how you see the world and the show is valid to you. Now, maybe you need a little bit of help if you think some racist, effed up things, but in regards to the show, just let it go if someone wants to talk down to you because they don't like your opinion. It's a fantasy show at the end of the day, and yeah, it brought us wonderful, amazing people together to talk about this, and I absolutely love my subscribers and talking with you throughout the seasons. But at the end of the day, you are going to have people that are nasty to you. Whatever you fall on your liking or disliking, be open to criticism or the opposite point of view, but also understand that even if people disagree with you, your opinion of whether you liked or disliked Season 8 and the finale is still valid. So, just wanted to get that out of the way. So let's start this. Did anyone else think we were gonna get this many happy endings for the end of Game of Thrones? I know these two words are a lot of people's triggers, but that kind of did subvert expectations because there's not a lot of happy endings in Game of Thrones, and you know that quote everybody ad nauseum just like to throw out there. If you thought this had a happy ending, you weren't paying attention. And it's like, okay, dude, stop quoting a psychopath serial killer. Like, calm down. Maybe not the dude you want to be taking nuggets of wisdom from, you know? And I guess if you're a Dany fan, you really didn't get a happy ending. Sorry. But really, who thought that the Starks were going to end up on top at the end of this series? Really think about it. The Starks basically control all of Westeros. We have Bran, who's the king of the Six Kingdoms. We have Sansa, who's the queen in the north. And then Jon is going beyond the wall with the wildlings, and he'll probably have a leadership position. Maybe he'll be the king beyond the wall. I kind of going back and forth on that. I know he'll have maybe a leadership position, although I kind of think maybe Jon just wants to wash his hands of all that and be like, I am done being responsible for people. I just want to live my best life, find a woman, not have to kill her or have her die in my arms, and have some babies. And then you think about Arya, who's going west of Westeros, and I'm sure she's gonna have some sort of leadership role or do something amazing, whatever she finds, if she survives. Also, I'm not convinced she won't come back to Westeros. Things you say in your youth don't always stick, so I could see her going back to the Seven Kingdoms and reporting on everything she found, and her maybe going back and exploring more. So yeah, the Starks absolutely made out like bandits this series. They took a lot of shit for quite a few seasons, and Winterfell in the north got knocked around quite a bit, but in the end, the Starks killed it. Literally and figuratively. Now, if you are a little bit confused with the Starks when it comes to a bittersweet ending, I still think we got a bittersweet ending. Think of Jon. He lost two of his great loves. He held one, well, both while they died, and was directly responsible for one dying. So he has that trauma. He has the trauma of being betrayed by his own men and seeing so much death, and even knowing it was the right thing to kill Danny, it didn't feel right, so he's gonna have that guilt. So regardless if John actually does father children or is with a wildling woman, he's gonna have that trauma for the rest of his life, and he also can't go back to the Seven Kingdoms. He left the Night's Watch to go with the wildlings. He broke his vow or his sentence, because I don't know if he actually said his vow to the Night's Watch yet, and the Night's Watch was totally cool with it because they respect John. They're like, yeah, dude, you did enough. Won't be hush-hush about you leaving and going north with the wildlings. Just don't ever come back, otherwise you're gonna make us look really bad, and we're probably going to have to execute you, just so you know. So John probably can never go to the other side of the wall again, so he's cut off from the rest of his family, but I think that also might be a good thing, because he's with the free folk that just accepted him and loved him and didn't care whether he was a bastard or not. If you want to go to Bran and his bittersweet ending, he's the three-eyed raven. He's not really Bran anymore, and his life is just filled with duty. He's never gonna have kids. He's never gonna have the pleasure of things that happen when you're able to have children, so that's a bummer. Sansa has a lot of trauma to live with as well. She was defiled, she was beaten, abused by so many people and manipulated and raped, and she will live with all of that. Even being queen in the north, that will still affect her and still made her a harder person. And maybe not, despite what she said to the Hound, in a good way in certain areas. I'm kind of hoping she lives a little bit with guilt, because her hands are not completely clean with what happened at King's Landing with Dany. I know Dany was the one that did it, but Sansa's hands are not clean, and anyone that says that is just fooling themselves. I don't know how you can look at her actions and not say, yeah, you're a little bit responsible for what happened. I'm actually surprised when she apologized to Jon for breaking her promise and telling Tyrion about his biological parents, that Jon didn't go, yeah, that was fucked. Instead he was like, oh, hey, yeah, I know you breaking a promise in front of the weirwood, which is really important to the Starks, that led to my lover that I was no longer with going kind of fucking crazy and probably helped lead to her snapping and me having to kill her. But I'm super glad that the North is now free, so totes worth it, Sansa. Totes. Is Sansa not gonna get any type of verbal lashing for the shit she did? No? Okay. But she did finally learn from watching Cersei and Tyrion and Littlefinger. She became the master manipulator, and she got what she wanted, to be a queen of a kingdom. Maybe it's not all of the Seven Kingdoms, but I have a feeling she won't mind just having the North after everything she went through in the South. She went through some shit in the North too, but I feel like Sansa's totally okay with, yeah, I'll just stay in the North and you guys can do whatever you want. Starks usually don't do too well in the South, except for Bran, but he's a three-eyed raven now. Also, Sansa's hair, so on point. I absolutely loved it. I think that's my favorite hairstyle of Sansa so far. Just gorgeous. It looks so good on Sophie. And her crown with the direwolf, also fucking lit. Hey, let's talk about Bran. So when Bran said, when they were trying to elect the new king, why do you think I came all this way? So Bran knew that he would be king. For how long? So we know Isaac gave an interview where he explained Bran's powers to the best of his ability. He said that D&D never sat him down and explained it, and it was just how he interpreted it. But Bran doesn't really see the future. He just has hunches or feelings he should do something. The best example he gave was Bran didn't necessarily know that the dagger he gave to Arya would be to kill the Night King. He just knew he had to give the dagger to her. So, kind of raises a lot of questions of, did Bran see this future, and how much was it him manipulating to get there? Also, you may have noticed I have a sore throat and I'm talking a little bit quieter and my voice is cracking. I think it's allergies, so I'm really sorry. You're just gonna have to deal with it by ignoring it or clicking off. I'm okay either way. You do you. Make yourself happy. As long as you're not, killing and maiming. But yeah, really my question is, how much was this Bran manipulating people to get what he wanted? He told Sansa, I can never be the Lord of anything, and now he's the Lord of the Six Kingdoms. So was that a lie? Was he manipulating her, or did he not yet know his future? So then I question things like, Bran was very adamant that Jon knows about his heritage. Was it because he had a hunch? Like Isaac said, he gets hunches or feelings something's important, so it was, I know it's really important that Jon knows, but I don't know why yet? Or was he manipulating the whole thing? I just have this sinking feeling that Bran purposely told Jon, or had Sam tell Jon, in order to break him and Dany up and cause that conflict that helped push Dany into madness. Because Jon rejecting her and him having a better claim than her definitely was a catalyst for a lot of emotional instability. And if you're wondering, okay, Bran was okay with hundreds of thousands of people dying painfully in order to just get him on the throne? Yeah. Isaac said in an interview, Bran doesn't really care about personal tragedy. He doesn't feel bad that he manipulated Theon. Well, he doesn't believe it's manipulation, but I do. He doesn't feel bad that he got Theon to basically sacrifice himself to give Arya time to rescue Bran. Bran doesn't care that Hodor died for him because he views it as these people had to die in order to ensure the Three-Eyed Raven lived. So basically the ends justify the means to Bran. So yeah, he would absolutely be okay, according to Isaac's interviews. Something could change if the showrunners D&D speak out and say something else. So I really am kind of wondering how much fuckery was going on with Bran and how much he was manipulating people, which he would be a very good manipulator. If you could go back and look at every second of someone's life, you'd know how to play them. You'd know exactly what to do and what to say. So maybe he is the master manipulator. Let's move on to Dany. I am so sorry, people that named your kid Daenerys or Khaleesi. If it makes you feel any better, my cat's name, one of my cats is named after her, and I apologized to her profusely last night. Oops. Although my cat Sansa, I was like, bitch, you made out fabulously, so good on you. This shot of Dany walking to do her speech to her Dothraki and Unsullied and Drogon's wings coming up to make her look like a dragon was so well done. Actually, to be honest with you, a lot of the shots with Drogon this season were on fire and so well done. But I also kind of think she looked like the Angel of Death, like she had black wings coming up, like she was just this avenging dark angel. But with her speech to the Dothraki and Unsullied, yikes, that definitely was a tyrant speaking. And I know she was trying to say, hey, I want to free other people, but it was someone that's so drunk on their own power and that they're so amazing and they know everything and they're always right. I mean, I know crazy eyes, trust me, when I see them. When she was giving that speech and then she was in what was left of the throne room, crazy eyes. She had absolutely lost it. And I really like that Jon was basically begging her with his eyes and with his words of, please show me there's some sort of remorse or reason or something in you so I don't have to kill you. And he was giving her these opportunities and he could hear and see the crazy and realize, nope, I gotta kill you, which, good on you, John, for stabbing her in a way that had her die quickly. You're a true bro. Also, really quick, I love that they addressed George's criticism of the Iron Throne. So George had an artist depict his view of how the Iron Throne should look, and he was really disappointed in how they did it in the show because it was supposed to be massive and you had to climb these stairs to get to it. And so Danny making that comment about, oh, my brother told me 1,000 swords and I imagined this giant thing and climbing up to get it, and, you know, a girl that couldn't even count to 20, and here it is. And I was like, oh, D&D, you rascals. That was very meta of you and kinda hilarious, not gonna lie. Drogon nudging his mom trying to get her to wake up was probably the saddest fucking thing in that entire episode. Oh my god. I think that was one of the major reasons I was crying after the episode, because there's something about children and animals nudging their dead parents that just messes me up. Also, I love that he burnt the throne, as in, you know, if my mom can't have it, that's all she ever wanted, no one fucking gets to sit on it. But also, this led to her death. Fuck this Iron Throne. I don't have my mom anymore because of her obsession with it. And I love Drogon taking her and then flying with her east. I imagine he's going to Essos and either taking her to where she burned her husband and then cremating her there. Was Targaryen tradition of being cremated, and they had dragons do it. Or him just taking her to a special spot, and then he's probably going to use his fire to cremate her. Although they totally blueballed us when Bran said he was going to see where Drogon was, and I thought we were going to see him do the white eyes and check it out, but apparently not. D&D blueballed us pretty hardcore this season. You have to admit that. My balls are so blue. It's so painful. Which, by the way, speaking of Essos, that's where the Unsullied and Dothraki are going. The Dothraki are probably going to go back to what they're all about. Raiding, raping, pillaging, and they're gonna be happy. Same old, same old. The Unsullied probably are all going to die when they go to Noth. I know that Grey Worm wants to go there as homage to Missandei and protecting her people who are pacifists, but dude, butterfly fever is gonna kill you all, so good game. You did. Lastly, let's talk about the election and the small council, and then I'll do my end thoughts. I think it's interesting that they got a step closer to democracy, and they laughed at Sam, which I think's understandable. I know a lot of actors talked about how they wish it would have been a true democracy at the end, and I know a lot of my subscribers said they thought that was how it was going to end, but it's baby steps. I mean, look at our own history. We're definitely baby steps to getting where we need to be, so it's understandable. However, having lords and ladies elect a king is going to lead to so much scheming and so much fuckery, so the Game of Thrones is not over. And I know George is all about that. He's very much so that everything is cyclical and history repeats itself over and over and over again, which we see, you know, with us, unfortunately. And maybe it's the same way with Song of Ice and Fire. It just, same BS, different time period. But I like that they're at least taking a step in the right direction. By the way, nice that we got official confirmation that Bran's penis doesn't work. Thank you, D&D. I've been wondering that for 8 seasons. Now I know. And by the way, Robin. The small council is interesting. Tyrion spending his entire life making amends for his mistakes. Sam as the Grand Maester is just so perfect, though I'm now wondering about Gilly. I have a feeling Bran made her the legitimate Lady Tarly and made little Sam legit, and also her child inside her. and she is now in the Tarley's home, being comfortable and well taken care of, which, good on you, Gilly. Davos, I love that he's the master of ships, which makes sense, duh, he's a smuggler, and Davos just kept rising higher and higher in this series. So besides the Starks, Davos, you made out like a bandit too. Actually, so did Bronn. I mean, he really bet on the right horse. Not only is he master of coin, kind of interesting, but Lord Paramount of the Reach? Bronn boy. Lannisters always pay their debt, and boy did they pay you. Or just Tyrion. I love Brienne being the Lord Commander of the Kingsguard and Podrick being knighted and also being part of the Kingsguard. Interesting that Sansa let her go, but maybe she wanted Brienne to be there guarding her little brother. So I'm gonna do some ending thoughts. I'm really glad that they showed us Cersei and Jaime were actually dead, because if they didn't, there was going to be a million fan theories that they didn't actually die and they were in Essos living their best life. So I like that they showed us their dead bodies. Also, I don't know why, it was way more sentimental and sweet to me seeing their dead bodies embracing each other than when they were embracing each other while alive and the rocks were coming down. I don't know, just them in each other's arms dead was really sweet. I know that's morbid, but it was really sweet. I really like the horror-esque view of King's Landing post Dany's rampage with all the bodies and the ashes of the slain falling down. I thought that was really, really well done, showing us the horrors of war. I thought for sure Grey Worm was going to fight Jon, and I was disappointed a little bit that they didn't fight, but I also loved Grey Worm's fuck you to Jon by slitting the Lannister soldier's throat as Jon was walking away. Grey Worm was a little bit still in a rage. Though either Grey Worm teleported or Jon didn't go right to Dany, because I don't know how that timeline worked out. Something of note, the main Game of Thrones theme played several times through this episode, but at varying speeds, intensity, different instruments, and different vocals, and each time it played, it invoked a different emotion, and it was so well utilized. I feel like you can shit as much as you want on Game of Thrones. The music is so beyond amazing. Just so well done. I love Brienne filling out Jaime's page in the White Book, and despite Jaime leaving her, her sign of respect and love for Jaime by doing that. Brienne is all around really awesome. And lastly, I will say, Jon, thank you for petting that good boy. He deserved it. Ghost, you are the best boy. We all love you. So wow, I cannot believe this series has finished up. Like I said, I have my Star Wars channel, Starrar. I'm going to do a lot more videos breaking down not only this season, but other seasons, and I'm going to be doing some book material, so hopefully you stick around, but if you don't, I completely understand. Thank you for talking about the show with me, even if you leave. And watching and sharing this with me. It's been fabulous. So thank you everyone that has supported me, and even if you don't like me, but you stuck around, thanks that I'm so important to you that you had to stick around even if you dislike me, and even if you had to dislike my videos, that's still pretty cool. So I do not say this to people lightly. I love you all. Thank you.